Before we start, do you know what is the accommodation? Yup, that's right. According to 2007, accommodation provides the base from which tourists can engage in the process of staying at a destination. So, accommodation is one of the basic needs for any tourism activity. Tourists need lodging for rest while they are on tour. Accommodation in the form of low budget until luxury class is available at all tourist destinations to provide the tourist a home away from home. So, tourists have to pay for for how long they stay. Like the tourist, accommodation assumes many forms, and not all of them fit the conventional image of the hotel. There are many various types of accommodation which are used by tourists. Tourists will use accommodation according to their needs. For example, large luxury hotels will emphasize facilities, service, and image to certain market segments, such as business travelers. In contrast, economy hotel will ultimately emphasize price as the key determinant. Hotels provide a base for business travel, meeting, and conference, and these are also lucrative. While the room will be hired for the meeting and entertainment will be able in the hotel. Therefore, hotels not only meet the visitors who just stay, but also add a value to the experience by providing ancillary service and products.
It is the scope and significance of the accommodation sectors which is of interest to tourism analysts, not least because it often comprises the largest element of tourist expenditure during a trip, and of course excluding visiting friends and relatives. Both business travelers and leisure travelers staying in the hotel accommodation have a higher propensity to spend whilst they are away than when they are at home. Therefore, hotels not only meet the visitor's basic requirement of shelters for the night, but also add value to the experience by providing ancillary services and products. Hotels also have the advantage that hosting guests has the potential to generate additional revenue from foods and beverage services. There are some operational issues in the accommodation sectors that also have resulted from globalization. The first is global cooperation, which operate throughout the world, such as the Holiday Inn, which franchises its brand across the world. Based on the Hospitality Industry Book, Volume 1, Vocational High School, Indonesia, Grade 10, page 69, hotel franchise corporation is a form of cooperating in terms of management. Hotel owners manage their hotels by using methods or patterns created and developed by other companies or hotels. In other words, the owners buys method or operating receipts from other companies such as Nico Jakarta and Hotel Ciputra. This can be an operational problem because with the policy from the center of a franchise company, which is a foreign-owned company, it may hinder economic growth in Indonesia. The second is multinational corporation, with operations in countries outside their main base or headquarters. According to Wikipedia, a multinational corporation is a company who doing business in many countries. These companies are usually very large. Such companies have offices, factories, or branch offices in many countries. They usually have a central office where they coordinate global management. Just like the previous one, the franchise companies, these multinational hotels have strong funds from all countries that they are branches of the company. But this doesn't always mean good. Many companies are even unfair in the wages of employees and state taxes occupied by their branch companies. This has an impact on the operation of the company's operation in those countries. The third is smaller multinationals, which operate in a limited number of companies. Not much difference from before. Smaller multinational companies still have sufficient funding for these companies. However, practically, many companies still do not empower operational employees from the local country, which is the company's branch country, as well as various infrastructure and facilities to support operational activities, where these three problems have an impact on the sustainability of activities in the accommodation sectors in Indonesia today. With the intervention of foreign-owned companies, domestic companies are less developed and worse off because they lose their reputation from their own people compared to the foreign companies. Following on from the issues before, a company can adopt transnation strategy by the first one is franchising its operation to other businesses in other countries, which it means we would do the same things as the foreign companies do. The second is licensing other companies or premises to operate using its brand, logo, or trademark. The third is entering into non-investment management agreements. The fourth is acquiring overseas properties and interests. The fifth is pursuing merge to integrate business interests horizontally to operate in a number of countries.
Hi, my name is Maulida Hasanah and I will explain what the difference between service and non-service accommodation. The accommodation sector, like the tourism industry, has undergone profound change since 1945 as the sector has been characterized by constant innovation, evolution, and diversification of the product range. The pre-1945 pattern of tourist accommodation was dominated by service accommodation, with a rapid growth in non-service type of accommodation after 1945. Yet even the distinction between service and non-service accommodation is blurring, with the growth of apartment hotel which permit self-catering but also have arrangement so that guests can enjoy food and beverage services at local restaurant and have them charged back to their account. However, the two sectors will be considered separately here. Service accommodation is dwelling or place of temporary residence and will involve the cooking, doing laundry, and running food shopping of a client as they are accommodated in temporary residence that is furnished and available the accommodation product price image, or how customers view it through advertising and marketing media. Ability to differentiate the product to different customer and incentive to encourage key clients such as a priority club membership or reward for location of establishment like accessibility, facilities like bedroom, restaurant, meeting rooms, sport facilities, and service level like dependent upon grade of establishment and price. For short-term or long-term stay and which provide amenities for daily use. Non-service accommodation is the type of accommodation where other additional services like meals and cleaning are not offered. It is only accommodation All other needs and chores you do by yourself. Another understanding of serviced accommodation is suites of offices or rooms where the landlord provides a range of services within the individual premises extending beyond the traditional ones associated with a maintenance and management of the building itself, or the operation and maintenance of the installation or plant therein, such as a furniture, telephone, fax machine, room cleaning, and or provides centralized specialist service such as a receptionist and secretarial and communication facilities. So, already understand about the difference between service and non-service accommodation? I hope you understand what I've explained. So, let's move on to my friend.
Hello everyone, my name is Pradnya Indira and I will tell you guys about the environmental issues. Many accommodation providers have had to respond to global concerns associated with environmental issues. Some hotels have embraced the principle of sustainable development to mirror customer concern with the energy consumed by their stay. For example, recycling and reusing linen and towels are minor measures that hotels have introduced. Much more major measures have been undertaken by small hotels, which have run environmental audit to assess the environmental costs of their activities in relation to energy consumption, transport, waste, purchasing, health, and last is the local environment. So, what's the meaning of the energy consumption? Energy consumption refers to all the energy used to perform an action, manufacture something, or simply inhabit a building. Next is transport. Transport is the movement of human, animals, and goods from one location to another. In other words, the action of transport is defined as a particular movement of an organism or things from a point A to point B. Next is waste. Waste are unwanted or unusable material. Waste is any substance which is discarded after primary use or is worthless, defective, and of no use. Next is purchasing. Purchasing is the process or organization used to acquire goods or services to accomplish its goals. Next is health. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And last is the local environment. The local environment is a portion of the total surrounding in contact with the system boundaries. It must be large enough for all of its incentive properties to be constant, and it must be incentive to state change of the system.